What's going on, Dolphins fans? Welcome to the Fins Up Network. It's Ben Morgan, and in today's player profile video, I want to talk about Hunter Long. I want to talk about his role in 2022 and whether or not he can make Mike Gesicki potentially expendable after Mike Gesicki plays out the 2022 season on the franchise tag. And now the Dolphins, I believe they have until July 15th to come to a long-term agreement with Gesicki. So we'll know relatively soon if he's going to play on the team tag or if he's going to get locked up long-term. But before we get started today, leave a comment on this video. Let's hear your thoughts on Hunter Long ahead of the 2022 NFL season. If you like what you hear, go ahead and give this a thumbs up. And if you haven't done so already, make sure that you are clicking subscribe. Get subscribed for all the videos that we will be doing here this offseason. But let's talk a little bit about Hunter Long. And let's start with a recap of last year. And I promise it's going to be a quick recap because he appeared in just 7 games and he had one more catch than I did. And I know a lot of fans were down on him last year. A lot of it was because of how many times he was simply just inactive for the games. But I've said it before, and I'll say it again. The amount of times that he was inactive last year, it didn't really seem to bother me all that much. Look at the team last year. They were pretty deep at the position. You had veteran guys. You had Mike Gesicki. You had Durham Smythe. You had Shaheen. There wasn't this huge pressing need to rush Hunter Long into game action. Plus, they say tight end is literally one of the hardest positions to make that collegiate to pro transition to. So I cut him some slack there. So while he was extremely quiet in 2021, don't get me wrong, I think that Miami is going to take a deeper look into Long and see what they have for 2022 and beyond. And one of the biggest reasons that they're going to feel this need to do that is because they need to know what they're going to do with Mike Gesicki and his contract situation. Now, there are a few factors that are going to come into play. How the front office is going to have to examine this position. They're going to have to look at Gesicki's performance. They're going to have to look at Long's performance. They're going to need to know where they want to prioritize spending moving forward. So let's look a little bit into Gesicki first. Simply put, if Mike Gesicki doesn't have a really, really, really good year and prove that he can be a top tight end in this league, now not only just pass catching, but showing improvement as a blocker as well, becoming an outright complete tight end, Miami might not feel prioritized to re-sign him because he's going to get paid somewhere to be a top-tier tight end. He knows what he's worth. He knows that he's going to cash in when it's his opportunity to hit free agency and get that big dollar amount. We just saw David Njoku get more than $14 million per year. Mike Gesicki is going to get paid. Mike Gesicki has proven that he can be a legitimate receiving threat, whether that's lined up in line in your traditional tight end, whether that's out in the slot. There's going to be a team that makes him paid like a top 5 tight end. It's not even for debate at this point. And if Miami doesn't think that the amount of money that they'll need to pay is going to match the production that they'll get from a tight end in this Mike McDaniel scheme, this theoretically could be his last season in Miami. Now, I don't personally see Hunter Long ever being the type of receiving threat that Mike Gesicki is. But if Hunter Long can show up in the passing game, and what do I mean by show up? He's going to need to run solid routes, obviously catching the ball, limiting the drops, producing a little bit after the catch. He's going to have to take advantage of the mismatches that are created by Tyreek Hill, by Jaylen Waddle, by those two being on the field together. It's going to create mismatches for other people. He's going to have to take advantage of those mismatches. He'll need to become a guy that opposing defenses simply have to respect. Any tight end at the NFL level can line up and run routes, and they'll face coverage in some shape or form by likely a linebacker or a safety, maybe a nickel cornerback. But in order for Miami to feel comfortable with Hunter Long as the team's primary tight end to the point where they could let Gesicki walk, he'll need to have at least earned the reputation as a tight end that defenses have to account for. He doesn't need to be Darren Waller, Travis Kelce, George Kittle. He doesn't need to be at that top tier level, but he need to be viewed in this top tier level of tight ends. And we'll probably honestly only get like a flash of that this year, if that's indeed the case, because Mike Gesicki, if he plays out this year on the tag, is still going to get the bulk of the targets at the position. So when Hunter Long gets his number called, he's got to make it count. And let's say that Hunter Long does enough this year. Miami lets Gesicki walk. I'd still imagine Miami moving forward incorporating multiple tight ends into the offense like they've done the last couple of years. So I wouldn't even expect like monster statistical numbers at any point for Hunter Long. He probably won't even reach these types of numbers this year, but if he could eventually be a guy that hits, let's say, 40 to 50 catches, 400 to 500 receiving yards, and then that 4 to 5 tight end or touchdowns per year, that would probably be enough from this team, from this team's top tight end, with the likes of Hill, Waddle, Wilson playing on the team as well. Like I said, there's one ball to go around and feed all of these mouths. So if the tight end position isn't prioritized in this offense and the need for having a top tier tight end isn't there, Miami may be able to get by with Hunter Long as the team's primary tight end after this upcoming season. So I love Mike Gesicki as much as the next guy. I'll be completely fine with the team if they go ahead and get this deal done before July 15th deadline. I'm even fine if he plays out the year and then they re-sign him next year if they get a deal done at the end of the season. But if the production that you're getting from the position is fairly similar between a tight end that's going to get 14 million per year, what Gesicki is going to get, and then you look at a guy who's playing on a rookie deal as a former third-round draft pick, it may financially prove to be in the team's best interest to end up letting Gesicki walk. But that's what I've got for today for Long and kind of Gesicki on the same track there. But like I mentioned earlier, I want to hear your thoughts on Hunter Long as well. Let me know in the comments below how you'd like the team to move forward with Hunter Long and in the position in general. Like I said, if you haven't subscribed yet, make sure you are doing that as well. But that's what I've got for today, Dolphins fans. And until next time, fins up.